Hello, everyone, and welcome. We'll call the meeting of the Madison City Commission to order for the meeting of October 22nd, 2012. Jeff, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Delzer?
Here.
Commissioner Erickson?
Here.
Commissioner Waldner?
Here.
Commissioner Abraham?
Here.
Mayor Hexum?
Here. Yeah, the minutes of the October 15th meeting is a part of your record. Are there any changes or corrections to the minutes?
I would make a motion to approve the minutes of October 15th. Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we approve the minutes of the October 15th meeting as prepared. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. You have the agenda for this meeting before you. I would recommend that we remove new business number 2 from the agenda, building permit fee waiver request from ICAP. This would be pending further discussion and review. But I can't make the motion. Are there any other recommendations for the
Yes,
agenda?
Mayor, could I just make an announcement regarding the Education Foundation banquet
Sure.
last Friday?
Okay. Under announcements, we'll say number 1A.
Okay.
Okay. Madison Education
I'll
Foundation.
move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded to approve the agenda as amended. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Under appearances, acknowledgements, and correspondence, we have one item. We have received a letter from the South Dakota Historic Preservation Office regarding the Lakeview Industrial Park Road grant. This is in connection with the road extension in the Lakeview Industrial Park for the Global Polymer Building Project. The agency's determination is that there is no historic properties affected, and that is signed and delivered to us as we have the, I guess you would say, Jeff, the environmental oversight responsibilities for this area, and that there are no historic aspects there to be concerned with that construction and extension. Are there any questions on that document, which is, did LAIC get a copy of this document, or Chad, do you want to see that LAIC gets a copy of this for their records too?
Sure.
Okay, I think just a copy, because I think the only copy came here to City Hall to me, so. Any questions on that letter?
I'll move to acknowledge the letter from South Dakota Historic Preservation Office regarding Lakeview Industrial Park Road grant application.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we acknowledge the letter from the South Dakota Historic Preservation Office regarding the Lakeview Industrial Park Road grant. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Under old business, we have 2 items, and I'll declare the time to be 5:35 p.m. We have actually 2 items. Hearing on a malt beverage license application for Mokovina is number 1, and number 2 is the hearing on the wine license application for Mokovina. Thank you for coming. It's just in time. I have received no comments, pro or con, regarding the transfer of these license applications. I would ask anyone present or commissioners for comment.
I could just give you a little background, that this is actually a transfer application from the present owner to, this is Nancy Caduce, by the way, and she has purchased the business, I believe, in partnership with her daughter, Leah Keating. And The location presently has a malt beverage license, which expires next June 30th. And it also has a wine license, which expires December 31st. So if you approve these transfers, then the renewal for, like, the wine license will come back to you again in December for a January 1st renewal. And then if you approve the malt beverage, that will come next June for July 1st renewal.
Why are they separate? Can we combine them to make it
Yeah,
easier? Or is
actually,
that,
this is dictated by state law.
Okay.
That
Wine.
malt beverage is always July, and wine and alcoholic beverages are always January, right? Just the way the state law is written.
Want to put all your grapes in one basket then?
Oh, funny.
Okay,
Or your hops.
Couldn't resist.
Nancy, do you have any additional comments to make, or any
No,
questions,
I
or?
appreciate, this has been a learning process
Mhm.
for us also, and I appreciate moving this up just a week. I mean, our opening day was Wednesday last week.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so our extended hours were not extended last week due
Okay.
to the licensing, the transfer. So I appreciate your consideration this week opposed to next week.
Okay, with that, I suppose you want two
Should have
motions,
separate.
Jeff. One on the malt
Please.
beverage license transfer.
I'll move to approve the application for transfer of the malt beverage license from the current Mokavino owner to the new owner.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we approve the transfer license application from Mokavina for the malt beverage license for that establishment from the previous owner to the new owners. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is carried. We would need then a similar motion for the wine license transfer.
I'll make a motion that we transfer the wine license application for Mokavino.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we approve the wine license transfer application from the current owners of Mokavina to the new owners. Any questions or speaking on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is carried. That's all we have to offer, so
That's a lot, thank you.
good luck with your new venture, and we wish you well.
Yep.
And
Appreciate it.
Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Mayor, I would add too that Nancy has not applied for video lottery, so these applications, neither one of them does include a video lottery
Okay.
license.
And Nancy will not be applying.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we understand. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. If I can say goodbye?
Yes.
Yes.
You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you like. Okay, under new business, we have several items. Number one is personnel. What are your
Make a
wishes?
motion to approve the personnel.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we approve the personnel recommendations as presented. Any questions or speaking to that motion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is carried. We have eliminated new business item number 2, the building permit waiver request, so we'll move to new business number 3. And that is to approve the city involvement in the Madison Safe Route to Schools Committee and appoint city members. Chad Comas and Commissioner Waldner and myself, to a certain extent, have been involved in some of the meetings and discussions on this new federal program, which just comes to us through South Dakota DOT. And we feel that this should be reviewed and then placed as a part of the record of the meeting that we are involved in the process, and that we support the process and the grant application as it goes forward and that type of thing. I've asked Chad to just maybe give and Commissioner Waldner here, just to give a quick update on what this is and what it can mean to the city of Madison and the community.
Okay, yes, thank you, Your Honor. The program is, there's a item in the agenda packet from the DOT where they talk about the Safe Routes to Schools program. We have had a couple meetings with some of the school folks in light of this information becoming available and in an effort to determine if there's an interest in this by the respective parties. In September, we had a meeting with some of those folks, and then we had a follow-up meeting October 12th to talk about this as well, and there seemed to be interest on part of the schools. All the schools, Madison Central, Madison Christian, and St. Thomas, all had representatives there, as well as East River Electric Cooperative with their, they operate a bike safety program. And they were also invited and decided to attend and also are interested. There is a proposal to develop this committee and with members of each of those parties involved, the city representation. I've talked to Commissioner Waldner as Public Safety Commissioner, and he had indicated that he's interested in being on the committee. Police Chief Chuck Bulford is also interested, and then I would be willing to do that as well for the committee. The press release really kind of hits on the high points, the DOT press release, excuse me, of what this can do, what I anticipate this also doing specifically for Madison. If we submit the grant application in April for potential grant funds to be awarded in October of 13, probably more so the funds utilized in 14, would be we could implement this program on the infrastructure side for sidewalk ramps. As you know, in couple these funds, if it works out this way, which I think it may, couple funds that we would receive through a grant for the infrastructure part with our assessment program to at routes near the school to aid accessibility for bikes and pedestrians and such like that. There's also school components to this and educational components that those folks in East River, outreach and education as well, that are parts of this grant application, and part of the funding would go towards something like that as well. But there's several different steps if the commission approves the city's participation in this tonight, and these members are appointed. There's some work to do ahead of the grant application, which is, that's one of our goals, the grant application. Really our goal is the safe routes to school improving, but a key component of that is having a successful grant application. There's many things that need to be done in preparation of preparing the grant application. We've also had conversations with First District Association of Local Governments. They've indicated they'd be willing to aid us in the grant application as we pay dues to them and such like that. So I'll just kind of stop there, and if there's any other questions, I tried to touch on some of the high points about the program. It seems like it might be an interesting and good opportunity, and there's certainly been already excitement by all the potential partners in this group. So
The funding then, if the grant is approved, the funding would be 100%
that's correct.
funding for the work and the projects involved in the area.
That's correct. The DOT has, I didn't say, but in one of those early meetings, the DOT actually came and gave a presentation to this entire group to start the education process of what this is about. But yes, that is one of the things they'd indicated, was that it was 100% funding, correct?
And our involvement is community involvement of in-kind, so to speak,
Correct.
our
Yeah,
time.
that
I mean, we have
enhances-
our time, and
That can certainly
there's some
enhance
meetings
grant
and
application.
there's some work to be done. But as far as cash expenditures, the grant should cover the,
Right. In kind, our time.
and there's quite a variety of things that can be done with, pending what you want to put into your application too, as
Right.
far as educational components and
Right.
those types of things.
The DOT has given they have some information on their website that it's been a successful program, and there's been many other communities that have received grants in the past.
Yeah, it looked to me like-
Ranging from $30,000 to $230,000.
Yeah, maybe,
Here's
what,
the-
15 or 20
Yep, something like
grants,
that.
something like that already in the last couple of years. And I think they said this was leftover funding from the previous funding cycle, and then there is a new funding cycle coming forward with some new guidelines, but will be considered under the old funding application guidelines. So they're making use of some carryover funds in this particular program. I saw some of the materials. It's pretty impressive, the quality of the materials that they have. I think the educational component is really exciting from a school standpoint. Okay, actually, I think our purpose here then for this is to, if there's any questions or comments, I think you said the committee, you already have committee members who have agreed to serve, and who would represent the city then?
On myself, Chuck Fulford, and Commissioner Walden.
Okay? And each of the committee members have specific responsibilities in the different areas of whether it's enforcement or education and those types of things. So that would be our city representative, so we could make that part of the motion for this evening to support the program and the process and get our people included.
Right, as I understand it, it's, as grant applications proceed and such, I don't anticipate any funds being expended, but as I understand it, that it's necessary for an action to be taken by the governing body, at least acknowledging participation in this group, and at this point in time, yeah.
I think you still have quite a few of the materials over here on the counter, so if anyone is interested in reviewing some of those materials, those are readily available. Any questions, comments, concerns? Okay. I guess then we would be ready for a motion to approve the City of Madison's involvement in the Safe Route to Schools program with the committee, and appoint city members of Commissioner Mike Waldner, Police Chief Chuck Pulford, and City Engineer Chad Comas to work with this as city members of the larger committee.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion is made and seconded that we approve the city's involvement in the Safe Route to Schools program. And a second. Are there any further questions or speaking? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. To business number 4, we have an application for a plumber license from Colin Wonder. This is Howard Heating and Plumbing of Howard, South Dakota. Everything is in order, Jeff, it appears?
Yes.
Okay. What are your wishes?
Make a motion to approve the plumber's license for Howard Plumbing.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we approve the plumber's license application from Colin Wonder of Howard Heating and Plumbing. Any questions or speaking? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried.
Mayor?
Yes.
I think this might be as good a time as any, just to briefly comment that internally, we are looking at the licensing requirements for all different types of licenses that the city approves on an annual basis, including electricians, sidewalk builders, plumbers. And I haven't even had a chance to talk to Chad about this because I'd like his input on it. But we may be coming to you in the near future about some suggested changes to the ordinance and the approval of these licenses. It seems as though they're very antiquated, the city's bonding requirements and these licenses in general. However, it does look like different towns approve what's called a building contractor license, which might encompass any type of contractor that works on any building for hire, whether it be plumbing, sidewalk, carpentry, electrician, that type of thing. It's like one license that might provide for all those type of licenses. And again, I'm not prepared to bring much more than that as far as the bonding requirements, the fees, the consistency between them, that type of thing. It does look like, though, the city's ordinances are pretty outdated regarding these licenses. So, might be something coming shortly.
Okay, thank
But
you.
I'd like to get Chad involved in that, too.
Mhm. Okay, new business number 5. Review sidewalk committee recommendations for the 2013 assessments.
I think you did.
We have a citizens sidewalk committee that meets on an annual basis to discuss recommendations for the coming year. And this group has been meeting here recently, and you have a copy of the sidewalk committee meeting minutes as a part of your packet. And the recommendations for 2013, Chad, I guess I would ask you initially for comment regarding the committee recommendations, and then the steps that would be taken after this evening if we elect to move forward with this recommendation.
Okay, thank you. I can. The mayor, you talked about the sidewalk committee minutes. October 4th are included in the agenda packet. The sidewalk committee also had met on September 27th to initially consider the 2013 locations to recommend to the city commission. There were several identified in the September meeting. After that meeting, we look at the costs for different routes that they identify as potential routes, and then bring them back to them, and they look at the potential routes. And when I say costs, I'm referring to the city costs for the corners, the improvements to make ADA improvements to those corners. As you recall, the city sets aside or budgets, a certain amount of funds for our portion, and then and so the sidewalk committee sort of looks at the cost for the identified routes, and they try to select routes that would fit within the budgeted restrictions that if you will, that the city has. So on October 4th, they did meet again, and they recommended these locations from West Avenue from 2nd Street Northwest, which is basically Highway 34, to 1st Street Southwest, and also 1st Street Southwest from Chicago Avenue to extended past or farther to the west of the Ram Heights Drive, and that would be the West Ram Heights Drive, to pick up the residential properties west of that West Ram Heights Drive. This has been, you asked me to talk about the process. This has been a similar process we've used for a couple of years, as far as meeting the sidewalk committee, meeting once and then identifying a couple routes, and then meeting the second time and making a recommendation at that time. What has typically been done with the city commission at this time is they would acknowledge the recommendation and then direct my office to prepare a resolution of necessity, a proposed resolution of necessity, I should say, and then that is advertised for a public hearing, and the landowners who would be affected would be also notified by mail of a public hearing for this consideration of the proposed resolution of necessity. And so, should the commission choose to adopt these recommendations and proceed, the next step at some point in time, either this evening or a subsequent meeting, however you wish, we would go to the courthouse and start preparing the resolution, which has legal descriptions and other statutory required items included on that. So that is, hopefully I covered what you were looking at there for the process, but that is what has been done in the past.
How far west of the West Ram Heights Drive? Are we talking the Hubble property or all the way to the Bar property?
Not to
or-
Farmer Avenue, not to Farmer Avenue. I do anticipate it would be, I believe Hubble is the westmost property owner on the north side.
Then
We would
Bar,
stop there.
then Bar, and then Iverson.
Bar is actually outside the city limits, so we
Okay.
would stop within city limits there. And then we would pick a respective termination point on the south side of the road that corresponds approximately with Hubble. I do not anticipate that extending onto any of the federal property on the south side. So I can't give you an exact footage, but I believe it's about, on the north side, it would be three different property owners, probably extend that further west, 3 different property owners. On the south, it's 2 or 3, I don't know exactly.
Questions? Comments?
Well, I can just say that I was at both meetings, and I think that the sidewalk committee really takes a good hard look at different areas around town, and this is what they determined. I think they feel that the people out in Ram Heights want to kind of be connected to town, get up to the swimming pool and even get into the sidewalk system. Right now, they're kind of on an island out there. So
The street was built, I should have elaborated, in '06, I think. In '06, that street was improved and curb and gutter was put in, and yes, that's correct. There's no sidewalk extending to the west of Highland at this time. And the sidewalk committee made several comments and observations during the meetings that, they've observed bikes and such like that, nearing Highland and approaching Highland and crossing there. So I would echo that as well.
Yeah, I think the discussion on pedestrian crossing there on Highland would be maybe something like we have on Highway 34, whatever
Investigate some signage.
whatever the rules and regulations would permit, but you'd have a marked pedestrian crossing and I don't know, possibly a flashing yellow light there for traffic, because that can be a very, very busy stretch of road in there with 4 lanes, and so those safety considerations were discussed too, So, the next step then, if we would be to approve this recommendation and ask the city engineer's office to prepare the appropriate proposed resolution of necessity for the 2013 sidewalk improvement program.
So moved.
Say, Mayor,
Okay.
maybe just acknowledge, take the word approve out so that there isn't some
Okay.
connotation, because you're really not approving the.
Okay,
these
to acknowledge
recommendations.
the
That will come
recommendation.
later.
Okay.
Make a motion to acknowledge the
Okay.
sidewalk recommendations for the 2013 assessments.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded that we acknowledge the sidewalk committee recommendations for the 2013 sidewalk improvement assessments.
Mayor, would you like for the language also to include a direction to my office, a formal direction, or do you want this brought back in a week or two?
To prepare the
To
letter.
prepare the resolution.
To prepare the resolution of necessity. Is that okay with
Yes.
the motion and
Yes.
second? Okay. That was my
I'll just include
understanding.
that in the
Right.
motion.
Yep.
Yep.
That the city engineer's office prepare a proposed resolution of necessity for 2013. Any other questions or concerns about the motion and the direction? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion is carried. Okay, we have some other things under announcements. Number 1 under announcements, finance officer position. I've been asked by the commissioners to announce that Jennifer Einmers, our Assistant City Finance Officer, has been named the City Finance Officer for the City of Madison, effective December 1st. She will replace the retiring Jeff Heinemeyer. I would also like to state that interviews were conducted recently from a pool of applicants. Following the interviews, Jennifer was named the successful candidate for the position, and I want to congratulate Jennifer on the appointment, and we're very happy that this has taken place and we're through with this process. So, any questions of Jennifer that you want to?
She got enough questions from some of us.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll let Jennifer conduct her own interview here with the news media right after the meeting. So congratulations again, and we are prepared to move forward with that transition. So,
Hey, Mayor, I just might add that next week, you will have before you a new job description, salary resolution, and then a sheet actually kind of formalizing the hiring.
okay. Well, thank you. And then, Jeff, you had an announcement?
Yes, I just wanted to let the commission know that the Madison School Educational Foundation had their 3rd annual banquet last Friday night at Nicky's. And they typically, besides doing some fundraising activities, invite a guest speaker to come in. In this case, it was a Dr. Richard Deming, who grew up in Madison and graduated in the early 70s. But the banquet had over 200 people at it, and they had to stop selling tickets a couple months ago because Nicky's can only take that many people. So it was packed to the Hilton. Normally, I don't bring these kind of things to the commission, but I thought you might be interested in knowing that at that meeting, they annually award a kind of an education friend of the foundation each year. And this year, Mayor Hexum and his wife were given that award as the Education Foundation Friends, and they have contributed a lot of time and funds to the foundation over the years, and it was just their way of recognizing them for their contribution. So I just thought the commission might want to know.
Yeah,
You're here.
very good.
Well, thank you. Well, it's a great cause, and we're happy to be a part of it. So that's just part of the good part of being in Madison, I guess. And Jeff serves on the board, so Jeff charged quite a bit to make that.
Did he?
Right. With some type of a campaign contribution or something.
That's okay. There'll be no campaigning.
Okay. Well, thank you again.
Retirement fund.
So,
Exactly.
okay, we have a request for an executive session under South Dakota CL number 1-25-2, paren 4. So if we're prepared to go into executive session,
Second.
okay, motion by Erickson, second by Abraham to go into executive session, get that right? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion's carried.